Well, hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? Welcome to Live at 5. Live at 5 is a stream that I do most days at 5 on my regular schedule. I do it on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on my main channel. Usually on Fridays, we go over to my second channel, Actively Unwoke, and on Saturdays, I rest. Now, this week is a little bit weird because tomorrow I will be traveling down to Pennsylvania for the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania convention. Just in case anyone's interested, I am actually a member. Even though I live in New Hampshire, I am actually a card carrying member of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania because reasons. We have business to do there that we're going to take care of this weekend. But because of that, I will not be streaming tomorrow, and I'm not entirely sure what my schedule is on Friday, and I'm not sure what's going on Sunday or Monday. There's lots of stuff up in the air, but we're gonna figure it out. If you want an update on that, please pay attention to the Twitters or to my locals or to the YouTubes, and I'll be providing updates on when I am streaming coming up. But today is not even the only stream that I'm doing today. In fact, a little later on today, I'm going to be excited to welcome, hang on, Joshua Smith, host of Break the Cycle and a current candidate for vice chair of the Libertarian National Party. He is actually currently on the LNC. He's a total badass, one of the original Mises Caucus supporters. He is going to be joining me for a chat right here on this channel in but 3.5 hours. And the reason I'm doing 2 streams today is because I'm not doing one tomorrow, and I'm not quite sure what's going on for the rest of the week. And life is crazy, and I have a head cold, and I got a tattoo today. Oh, guys, do you want to see my tattoo? Check this out. We're going to talk about psychological effery in a second, but listen, I went through 4 hours of pain today. Hang on. Let me see if I can get a better angle on the tattoo. I have to show it off. I literally just took the saran wrap off of it. Oh, it's beautiful. We're putting a moon on there. I already had the sun done. He went around and did some more of the sun today. We're getting a moon on there. We're getting some stars. There's going to be a little galaxy over on the side of the arm that I can't show. It's looking so good. But it's a little painful. Oh my god, has anyone had the back of their arm tattooed before? Oh my god. It hurts so bad. Hang on. I got to get resituated now. So I thought we would do a fun stream today. I mean, I think it's fun. We're going to talk about psychological fuckery. I'm not gonna use fuckery the whole time. I just kind of this is like my new favorite word, fuckery. But I thought that would be a topic that we could talk about today. Because I ain't doing no State of the Union response video. I'll tell you that. Oh my god. I got a head cold or like a sinus infection or something. It is kicking my ass, man. I do not have COVID. I promise you. I took a test this morning and everything. Oh man, but gee, like people still get colds as it turns out. And of course, because I have so much to do, of course I'm going to get sick. All right. Let's dig in to our topic of the day. Now, this came up because of what other reason? What other reason could there possibly be that I would be thinking about something? My Twitter haters. If you remember the 3.5 hour stream I did about how some people are being a little crazy about me on Twitter, one of the primary accounts, Incognito. Shout out to Fran for hosting the Zoom meeting in locals. Thank you, Fran, for that. I really, really do appreciate it. Blessings to you, my dear. And I did get your email earlier, and I'm gonna get back to you on that. So one of the reasons that I've been thinking so much about psychological fuckery is that I am actively engaged in psychological warfare with my haters on Twitter. And I'm having a good time with it. This is not actually a bad thing. What I'm doing is I'm actually using this as an opportunity to try out different strategies. And I'm using it as an opportunity just to see what provokes certain reactions. Now, the number one thing that has provoked a reaction from them. And this is such a stupid thing, and I don't really understand it. I'd like your feedback in the chat if you have any. Is this idea that I have burner accounts. Did you guys know that you can create multiple accounts on Twitter and that some of those accounts don't have to have your real name on them? Well, my haters hate this. They hate that I have burner accounts. It drives them crazy. They literally talk about it all the time. And to be clear, pretty much everyone has burner accounts on Twitter that's actively using Twitter on a regular. They were complaining about my burner accounts the other day, and I tweeted this out. I said, "You know why my haters are so pissed about me having burner accounts? It's not that it's abnormal to have burner accounts. Most people do, including them, because they wouldn't be able to see my tweets otherwise. It's because it's something they literally have no control over. It's not a principle. It is a control issue. They're even pissed off at my burner accounts that I don't even use. Some of my old accounts I don't even remember the password for. So they've been keeping a list of all the Twitter accounts that they think are mine. And they're like, look at all these accounts Carlin has. Like some of these accounts I literally created like 10 years ago, and I don't even use them anymore. Like nothing has been posted. I haven't logged into them in years. They're just existing unused on Twitter. But even the mere existence of these accounts is pissing them off, and I just think it's hilarious. So why would they be pissed over these accounts existing? Because they can't control it. They hate the fact that I can register as many burner accounts as I damn well please, and that I will not apologize for a single one of them, and there is nothing they can do about it at all. In fact, having them wouldn't be as much fun for me if they didn't hate it so much. And that is absolutely true. Listen, I don't really care about having burner accounts. I don't even use most of the burner accounts I have, but I love that it drives them crazy. I love that they talk about it all the time. I love that this is one of their primary grievances, and it's simply because they have no control over it. The moral of the story is this: if you want to engage in psychological fuckery with control freaks, just take them out of control. Do it in public. Do it unapologetically. Remind them constantly they're not in control, and then watch them all the way home. This type of psychological fuckery is best because you're literally not doing anything to them. All you did was not apologize for your choice. They're inflicting all the pain on themselves. They could stop anytime by saying, I don't care about this, and moving on with life. And that is the last point. That is the last point that I really want to hammer home. That psychological fuckery, like some people might look at it and they might say, Carlin, you're a psychologist. Why on earth would you possibly feel that it is appropriate to engage in psychological fuckery? Well, here's the thing. I can't actually do anything to people. All I can do, and all any of you can do, is set the stage for people to inflict psychological pain on themselves. I can't force people to think a certain thing. I can't force people to react a certain way. If they are thinking a certain thing and they are reacting a certain way, that is entirely on them. And they could very well choose to say, Carlin is crazy. I don't even need to look at her Twitter account. Like, I don't need to care about any of the, like, why would I care if she has a burner account? Like, I'm saying things in public. Anyone in public can see my tweets. Why would I even care about it? They could very easily choose that tactic. Listen, I know my haters have burner accounts. Please. I know people who are literally stalking me on Twitter have burner accounts because they wouldn't be able to see my tweets if they didn't. But I just don't care. I expend zero energy on it because it's not something I can control, and that therefore it's like, why should I even worry about this to begin with? But people like this, and I am absolutely in this case, this is not just me complaining about my haters on the internet, although it might seem like it is. I'm just using them as an example. I absolutely believe that my haters act like woke SJWs. 100%. And so when I'm talking about these tactics, we're not only going to use them for people in our lives that are like annoying to us and we want to try to get back at them in some way or give them a taste of their own medicine. We also want to be able to use these strategies against the woke. We want to be able to use these strategies against the people that are causing real world damage to our culture, right? And I'll give you an example of that. You remember that school board meeting that got me banned from all school board meetings in that school district moving forward? That was an example of psychological fuckery. So for those of you who aren't up to speed on that, basically, there was a school board near about 40 minutes away from my house in New Hampshire. They were mistakes were made. They were arresting parents for not wearing masks to school board meetings. They were covering up for middle school teachers touching children where they should not have touched them. They were covering up for possibly an active shooter at the school and letting their parents drop their kids off at school anyway. And quite frankly, a bunch of parents had enough of it. And I happened to be connected with some of them through the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. And so all of us started going to school board meetings. And in those school board meetings, when the school board did something effed up, like refusing to allow parents to speak or interrupting parents, we would heckle them and yell at them. And how I got banned from school board meetings in that district is I yelled, "We know where you live." Now, did I actually know where they lived? No, I had no idea. But they are publicly elected officials. And so if I can plant the seed to allow them to show their true colors, I'm more than happy to do it. So what happened when I yelled, "We know where you live," and I wasn't the only one to engage in these tactics, by the way. These weren't even my ideas, but I absolutely endorse them and they absolutely do work. What happened was the school board shut down the entire meeting. And that to me is a win. If you can get a school board running scared from a group of parents and you can actually get them on video shutting down a meeting and walking out of the room and refusing to engage, that to me is a win. It is absolutely a win. It puts them on the back foot. They're instantly on the defensive. They have to figure out how to handle the situation. And so, what actually ended up happening after that school board meeting is, are you kidding me? Hang on, I just got to okay, I'll tell you what happened. What happened after that school board meeting is that the superintendent actually resigned. So we won. We were successful in that endeavor. I just said, "Oh my god. Wow." Okay, let me show you what I just got. So I told you guys that I'm going to the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania um meeting tomorrow. Let me show you what I just got in my email that made me go, "Wow." Hang on, gonna cough. Sorry. I tried to mute my microphone, didn't get there in time. Here it is. The Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania wants to remind me to bring a mask? What the hell? The Community Arts Center, in accordance with the Pennsylvania College of Technology and Health and Safety Standards, requires all attendees to wear a mask at a Libertarian state convention? WTF. Hang on, I need to send this over to the Signal group. I bet. Oh, yeah, they're already talking about it. What the hell? God, libertarians can't even get any. That's not very libertarian. I will be bringing my fake mask, I guess. Holy crap. Hang on. Gotta blow my nose. Gotta. They're really gonna like me too. I'm gonna try to convince everyone I have COVID. That is the plan. I'm gonna try to convince all of the loser brigade that I have COVID and I'm coming to infect them when in fact I just have a cold. Wow. Oh, apparently, like, everyone tweeted it into the group at the same time. That's hilarious. Wow. Okay, back to psychological fuckery. Yeah, this is like the loser brigade of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania psychologically fucking with us. They're like, "You have to wear masks." Yeah, exactly. Carlin is not gonna wear a mask and cough all over everyone. That is exactly what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go right up to John Waldenberger and be like, "Hi, John. Hi. Mwah." I'm gonna blow him kisses. This guy, he's a member of the Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania, total asshole, and he gets mad at me when I use a kissy face emoji with him. He's like, "I do not consent to your kissy face emoji," and I'm like, "I don't really care. I'll use whatever emoji I want." Another example of psychological fuckery. All right. So let me go back to my other screen. So if you think that I am the only person using this type of tactic, I just want you to consider the following example. So Mike Cernovich tweeted today. He said, "For all the talk of Russian bots and propaganda, it's clearly the case that most of what's going on from Ukraine has been false. The ghost of Kyiv, Snake Island, Holocaust Memorial being targeted, debunked earlier today. Old footage from past wars posted as current." And I retweeted this and I said, "This actually makes them smart. They're obviously outmatched militarily, so they're playing the psychological game to get the world on their side. It is a smart move." So, literally, the country of Ukraine right now is engaging in not exactly the same type of psychological fuckery that I'm recommending, but they're engaging in the tactic nonetheless. They're trying to play on people's emotions. They're trying to make them to get them to make certain decisions that they feel would be advantageous, and they're doing it because they're on the back foot. They don't have the type of military might that Russia has, so they have to use other weapons. This stuff works. Has anyone ever read Sun Tzu? When was the last time you guys read Sun Tzu? Sun Tzu talks about this. Wars are won before anyone ever steps foot on the battlefield. And so I absolutely endorse and encourage that if you have enemies, whether they be a personal enemy that is annoying you, or whether they be like a woke leftist army, you have to engage in this stuff. Because if we're trusting, listen, what are our options? We can intellectualize about this stuff. We can go scream at school board meetings until we're blue in the face, or we can start playing head games. Do you guys see any other options? Certainly we probably could come up with a few other options, but generally speaking, we can intellectualize and talk about the problem. We can actually get out into the world and try to protest and be activists and things like that, or we can try to get in people's heads. Now, we probably should be doing a combination of all three, but the fact of the matter is that people have been intellectualizing about this problem for years. They've been intellectualizing about it for years, and it hasn't done anything. Not only hasn't it done anything, it has actually made the problem worse. So we cannot count on intellectualization to save us. It is simply not going to happen. Can we count on getting out and going and doing stuff? Well, no, we can't do that either. We can't. And as proof of that, I'm going to offer a stream I did the other day where I said that mass only came off at school when polls told the Democrats that it wasn't tenable anymore. No amount of yelling at school board meetings worked. No amount of angry letters to the teachers worked. No amount of anything worked until the polls told the Democrats that it was untenable. And so that's not going to work either. We cannot count on that as a strategy. But what you can always count on, always, 100% of the time, is that you can use psychological fuckery to get people to expose themselves for who they really are. Our Lady, no, this is not correct. Our Lady says mask came off at school when they realized parents were going to the bonds of the administration and the school board. No, that's not true. The mask came off when the polling data told the Democrats that they would lose an election, that they would lose power if they didn't stop pushing the goddamn masks. So that's not true. This activism did not work. And it was all coordinated. It was coordinated across the country at exactly the same time in red states and blue states alike. The mask only came off when the Democrats thought they would lose an election. God damn, my voice is crazy, isn't it? My God, what the hell virus did I get? I'm gonna spread this to the entire loser brigade at the Libertarian Party convention without a mask. All right. So, what is the goal of psychological fuckery? Well, we didn't have Tarot Tuesday the other day, so let's look at some tarot cards. I know, everyone's favorite thing to do. So let's look at some tarot cards. Now, I use tarot cards when we're talking about archetypes. So we're not doing psychicry right now. We're not psychicking anything. We're not doing divination or any of that. We're just looking at archetypes of the human experience. Now, there are 3 tarot cards that I think are appropriate goals when we're talking about psychological fuckery. They are the devil. I think that's a really good goal, to try to get someone to feel like the devil. They are 8 of swords. That looks like you don't want to be in that place. And also 9 of swords. Those are the 3 that came to mind. If other people have different tarot cards they'd like us to look at, then put those in the chat and we can talk about those. But when I'm engaging in psychological fuckery with someone, I want them to feel like one of these 3 cards. Maybe even a combination of all 3, to be honest. I want them to be doing everything they can to psych themselves out. Let's start with the devil. What do I like about the devil? Why might I want someone to feel like they're in this card? What does this card look like? Well, all of the cards are a psyop. All of the cards are a psyop. That's the game graphically, Alex. What do you guys see when you look at this card? Why might this be one of our goals for psychological fuckery? Not decent. Well, I mean, yeah, the devil can mean a lot of different things. No, I don't want them to get to 10 of swords. Like, 10 of swords is like a little bit evil. Listen, and this is actually a really good point. Listen, I don't want to do permanent damage when I'm screwing with someone's head. That's not the goal. I don't want them to like 10 of swords here. I'll show you guys what 10 of swords looks like. Hang on. I'll show you guys what Sin is talking about. 10 of swords. The goal of psychological fuckery is just to get people to like psych themselves out. It is not to actually do them in, okay? Here's what the 10 of swords looks like. 10 of swords is basically like the worst possible thing that can happen. You're not in a good place if you're getting 10 of swords. Okay? Yeah, so we don't want to do that. I don't want to go quite that far, but I'm willing to go to the devil. I'm willing to go to 8 of swords or 9 of swords. So what do we see when we look at the devil? What I see, the devil can mean a lot of different things. But what I see is like it's a fundamental feeling of like oppression, of like being chained to something. But the interesting thing about the devil is look at these chains. They have these chains around their neck, but they can literally take them off. They can make the choice to take the chain off if they want to. They don't have to keep it on their neck. So the devil, and I'm just going to read, I like Biddy Tarot for like a website to look at tarot cards. There are many websites out there. We're just going to read a little bit about this card. The devil card often appears when you have been tricked into thinking you have no control over your shadow self or those negative forces, and that you can never break free from their hold. You believe you need it and you must have it, even if it means going against what you know to be right to attain it. Deep down, though, you know it's to your detriment, and you are only doing yourself and often others a disservice when you cave in to these lower needs and desires. To break free of these negative patterns, you first need to acknowledge the hold they have over you and the impact they're having on your life. For example, the first step of Alcoholics Anonymous is an admission. We admitted that we are powerless over alcohol, that our lives have become unmanageable. When the devil shows up in a tarot reading, see it as an opportunity to bring these negative influences into your conscious awareness so you can take action to free yourself from their hold. And as a reminder, freeing yourself is literally a matter of taking the chain off of your neck. When I'm thinking of the devil card, I want someone to feel as though there's like a force coming at them and keeping them down, but maybe not realizing that they have every opportunity to just move out of the way, to just allow that energy to flow right around them. They don't have to let it crush them. Okay? So that's card number 1. Card number 2 that I might want someone to feel like when I'm psychologically fucking with them is 8 of Swords. Now, what do you guys see when you see this card? We've talked about this card in my locals, so I expect my locals members to have some good answers here. If I want someone to feel like they're the 8 of Swords, what do I want them to feel like? The thing about swords in the tarot is that swords are about mental process. So they're not like a sword like James Lindsay has a sword. The swords are all about mental process. Yeah, Just He says, usually if you're chained up, you didn't do it yourself, but I am assuming there is something more to this. Someone give the devil a key to the chain to use loose chains. Exactly. The devil was about loose chains. You can take those chains for the devil, you can take those chains off. You can slip it right over your head. The loop is big enough so that you can slip it over your head. And it's kind of actually the same with the 8 of Swords. She's not bound very tightly, right? Sin says caged, but they can walk away or lose their own bounds. No, Brent says 8 of Swords is the person I've tied up in my basement. No, 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 no. This is a prison. This is a prison that we've created for ourselves. If I want someone to feel like this, I want them to feel trapped. I want them to feel like they have nowhere to go. I want them to feel like they're in a prison. But the thing of it is again, they're allowing me to do it to them. This is not a prison. This woman is not in a prison. This woman has a clear path where all she has to do is walk forward. She can the things that are tying her up are not very tight. She could probably squirm and wiggle her way out of them. There's no guards keeping her in this prison. She is trapped because of what is going on in her head. Okay? Yes, Nat D, the prison of their own woke ideologies. That is exactly correct. They are in a prison of their own woke ideologies. All she needs to do to escape the prison is to wiggle out of her binds. She could probably untie them herself, pull the blindfold off, and walk away. Nothing else is keeping her there except herself and what's going on in her head. So let's take a look at what this website says about this. When the 8 of Swords appears in a tarot reading, it comes as a warning that your thoughts and beliefs are no longer serving you. You may be overthinking things, creating negative patterns, or limiting yourself by only considering the worst case scenario. That's going to be pretty key if we're talking about engaging in psychological fuckery. We want them considering the worst case scenario. Okay? The more you think about the situation, the more you feel stuck and without any options. It is time to get out of your head and let go of the thoughts and beliefs holding you back. As you change your thoughts, you change your reality. Replace negative thoughts with positive ones, and you will start to create more favorable situation for yourself. So if we're talking about thoughts, as the road to freedom here, then if I'm trying to psychologically screw with someone, what do they need to do in order to respond to me? If I'm trying to psychologically psych someone out, I want them thinking about the worst case scenario. I want them thinking about the worst possible outcome. What could they do to easily guard themselves from whatever I'm doing to engage with them? Yes, Just He. Essentially, these cards represent obstacles that aren't actually obstacles. They're the illusion or presentation of obstacles. Exactly. Exactly and precisely. Graphically, Alex says the Democrats use Eight of Swords all the time. They absolutely do. Yeah, Sin, you could laugh. If someone is trying to psychologically screw with you, laughing is one of the best things you can do. Have fun with it. Have fun with it. Listen, the reason that I talk about that I showed you guys this thread about my burner accounts on Twitter, that thread was posted as a defense for these idiots on Twitter trying to screw with me. Cuz it's like, if I don't apologize, if I have a perspective that's like, there's nothing wrong with having burner accounts, I'm going to do whatever I want. There's nothing that they can do to mess with me, which is exactly what they want. Laughter's the best medicine. I mean, even if you don't want to laugh, what you could do is try to get a different perspective. What you could do is to try to look at the situation differently. So if I'm psychologically screwing with someone by having burner accounts, and those burner accounts drive them crazy because they're constantly thinking, Carlin can see every one of my tweets, even though I don't want her to see my tweets, but she can see my tweets anyway because she has these burner accounts and I can't control her and I don't want her to see my tweets, but she's seeing my tweets anyway. What could that person do in order to stop getting in their own head about this? What could that person do? Because that person's feeling trapped. But just the thought that I might be looking at their tweets has driven these people into a psychological tizzy where they have literally trapped themselves via the Eight of Swords. So if they want to take themselves out of that trap, what can they do? Yeah, we're going to talk about Nine of Swords in a minute, graphically, Alex. Don't worry about that. Yeah, they could stay off social media. They could make the choice, say, you know what, screw Twitter. I hate Twitter anyway. But if they're going to do that, there's an even easier solution. There's an even easier solution for them. You don't have to go off Twitter entirely. If the only thing that is making them freak out is, oh my God, Carlin has burner accounts and she can see my tweets, and that's a horrible, awful thing because I don't want her to see my tweets. What do they really need to change? I'm gonna look in the chat. I just gotta blow my nose because I have a cold. Hang on. Yup, Sin. Yup. Well, no, they can't change their privacy settings because they don't know what my burner accounts are. So they're well, they could. I suppose they could lock their account. Yeah, they could do that. Although they don't know if I'm following them or not with my burner accounts. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm following them, and them privating their account isn't going to do shit. They could quit looking at my tweets. That would absolutely be something they could do. Aha! Reagan. Remove the isolated negative association. That's, and Heather, you're hitting on that as well. They could just ignore and stop worrying. Exactly. Exactly. But I like the way that Reagan worded this. Remove the isolated negative association. Okay? Because what this means is that they are associating me having a burner account with being bad. What if instead they said, I don't care if Carlin has a burner account. Like, there's nothing negative about Carlin having a burner account. Like, who the hell really cares? That's what a normal person would do. They could also even say, maybe Carlin having a burner account is a good thing. Maybe if Carlin really is looking at my tweets, I could use my tweets as a way to screw with her. And maybe if I screw with her enough, she'll stop looking at my tweets. Now, that wouldn't happen because I know how to play these games. So don't get any ideas, haters. That's not going to happen. But what I think that they could do that would be really effective is simply to remove the negative association. If you refuse to see something as bad, then there's no reason to get upset over it. If you just view it as something that's neutral or even something that's good from something that's positive, then it's not going to screw with you in the same way. So that's all they have to do. I'm trying to get them to look at something negative. I'm trying to make them feel trapped. And we're going to talk about how to do that in a second. And the best defense to that is to say, I don't think that this is negative. I don't think it's a bad thing. Cool. Yes, and haters, stop worrying about me. Why do they even care? It's so stupid. I agree, Patrice. I agree wholeheartedly. I agree wholeheartedly. All right, let's look at our last one. And that is the Nine of Swords. I told you we were going to get to the Nine of Swords. So we've just learned that swords are about mental processes. And this person's having a little bit of a time. This person is waking up in a tizzy in the middle of the night, worrying about something, maybe just had a nightmare about me having burner accounts and looking at their tweets, and it's driving them so crazy that it is literally keeping them up at night when they could be sleeping. Graphically, Alex says, I am this energy all the time. So let's read a little bit about this. Be careful, because the fear and worry in the Nine of Swords can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, this is really important. If I am really getting annoyed at someone, if I'm really getting pissed at someone, I will absolutely try to get them to create self-fulfilling prophecies for themselves. What do you think I mean by that? What do I mean when I say I'm trying to get someone to create a self-fulfilling prophecy? And we'll continue on with the description in a sec. I just want to see what you guys say to this. I'm not trying to get anyone to drink. I'm not trying to get them to do that. I mean, if they want to have a drink, like, fine. But yep, stress can cause illness. That's exact. Yes, stress can cause illness. I don't know what the hell I probably have been working too much, and that's why I'm sick. But I do believe I made myself sick. Probably by working too much. Maybe I had too much of my own stress, anxiety. Yep. Just they're focused on something happening or possibly happening so much they end up creating it for themselves without realizing it. Exactly. That is exactly right. Now, this is a little bit tricky because, and I do genuinely mean this, when we're engaging with psychological fuckery, I don't want people to have permanent damage done. I don't want people to experience long-term ramifications for it. But if they do, that's quite frankly their choice. If someone wants to be a journalist, calls himself a journalist, but isn't doing any journalism for some weird reason, I would say that I got that person to create a self-fulfilling prophecy for themselves, because they're in their head so much that they've actually stopped doing the thing that they want to do. They've actually stopped doing the thing that they build themselves as. All because they're so worried about what I'm saying and what I'm doing. That's them. That I didn't force them to stop doing journalism. I didn't force them to stop being productive in any way, shape, or form. They did it to themselves based on their actions. All I had to do was to plant a seed, or to say something a certain way, or to insinuate that something was about them. That's all I had to do. I didn't force them to do anything. But in their tizzy about whatever situation it was, they literally became the Nine of Swords, and in becoming the Nine of Swords, they've created a self-fulfilling prophecy for themselves. Let's finish the rest of this paragraph. As you obsess over what may go wrong, you are more likely to manifest your worst case scenarios because you inadvertently are acting in ways that support your negative thoughts. For example, you may worry that your partner will cheat on you even though you found no signs of infidelity. The more you stress about this potential outcome, the more your anxiety pushes away your partner until one day he feels so disconnected from you that he starts a new relationship with someone else. When you are repeating 9 negative thoughts in your mind, you run the risk of manifesting them in real life. So the 9 of Swords asks you to break the cycle. Every time a negative emotion comes up, replace it with a positive one instead. Now, what is the common denominator across all of the cards that we've looked at? What's the common denominator? We have the Devil, we have the 8 of Swords, and we have the 9 of Swords. Do you guys see any commonality among those cards? Yep. Art of War. Use their paranoia against them. Absolutely. Every day of the week. Every day of the week. Self-perpetuation. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Graphically, Alex says, I think 9 of Swords is all about feeling that you have control too. Well, yeah, I mean, it's about being taken out of control, really, or feeling like you've been taken out of control. Listen, we always have control. This is what people who, like, allow themselves to become the 9 of Swords or any of these things don't understand. We always have more control and more power than we think we do. Always, in every circumstance. Because the one thing that we never, ever, 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 ever lose control over is our mind, our perspective, how we see the world, how we interpret what happens to us. Patrice says, I wonder if those backstabbing Carlin then getting together will end up with some backstabs coming to them from the same people. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, Patrice, at all, unless they decide to change their ways, which they very well could do. Listen, every moment of every day is a chance to make a different choice. All of those people who are in this little horde, bullying horde, they could choose to make different decisions at any time, right? And I genuinely hope they do. Because right now, what's going on is that they are creating these self-fulfilling prophecies for themselves. Gratitude always. If you keep trolling my chat, I'm going to ban you. This is not the first time, but if you keep trolling my chat, I'm going to ban you. This is your last warning. I'm not messing around. Yeah, they could choose not to pile on for clout. They could choose not to follow a stalker account. They could choose to mind their own business. They could choose to go on with their life and do whatever they want to do and ignore me entirely. They could choose to do any of those things. They don't do them. Why? This is the question that's been going over in my head. Like, why? And the same is true of the woke left, too, to be honest. The same is true of anyone that can be impacted by any of these strategies. They are making the choice to put themselves in the situation where they can be impacted by these strategies. So should you really feel bad about utilizing it? No, you're utilizing the thing that they gave you to utilize. That's a weapon of war. Exactly. They could choose to do their mission. They could choose to do their job. They could choose to be journalists. They could choose to launch their own projects. They could choose to do their own thing. But they don't. No, you troll my chat all the time. This is the last warning. So, I want to read you another thread on Twitter, and then I want to talk about it. Not that one, not that one, that one. Okay. So how can we utilize this to our advantage? Well, here's a simple experiment that I would like everyone to try. And you can try this with anyone in your life. They don't need to be crazy on Twitter. You could do this with anyone in your life. But think about someone that you dislike or that annoys you. If you want to screw with them, yes, I am sick. I have a head cold of some sort. I don't have COVID. I just have a head cold. So if you want to try to screw with someone, first off, talk publicly about a topic that you know will annoy them. Why do we want to do that in public? And public could be on Twitter, it could be on Facebook, it could be on other social media that they're on, it could be in the community, it could be in a church group that they're in, but just it's important to do it in public. Why do we wanna do it in public, do you think? Why might that be an important part? Aaron says, "I love the way you wrote this, Aaron." Basically, you're asking them, "Why do you keep punching yourself as you keep putting their hand in front of their face?" That's exactly right. Yes. Natty, well, yeah, doing it in public makes them freak out, but why? Yes, to get in their head. If no one else can see something, then why would they react to it to begin with? Doing it in public is not even about other people. It's about the fear that other people are going to judge them. Like, here's the thing. When so they can't deny they're punching themselves. So here's the thing. Like, most people are so selfish that they don't really care what's going on with anyone else. Most people are incredibly selfish. If I tweet something, even though like I have like a lot of Twitter followers, if I tweet something about someone else, most of the time no one actually cares. So it's not actually about communicating with other people about that person. What it is about is making the other person think that everyone cares about their business. It's about making people think that everyone else is seeing this. It's about making them believe that everyone else has feelings and is judging them and is pointing at them saying, ha 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 ha, aren't you silly? Is that happening? No, but you're trying to plant the seed that it is. That's why you do it in public. When you plant the seed that it is, you get this, you get this, and you get this. Now, just like I said though, they could very easily tell themselves, "Oh, Jess, I love that you said yes, they feel naked." Exactly like in the devil card, they are literally naked. Their oppression is being shown on the world stage. They are literally naked, or they feel like they are. Now, they could very easily make the choice to say, "I don't care what people think about me. I don't care if people see this. I have nothing to apologize for. I didn't do anything wrong." But they don't do that. They don't do it. And the funny thing is, you can actually tell them what you're doing. And we're going to talk about this in a second. You can lay your entire strategy out for them. And they still won't get it because they're so focused on the fact that they're like, "I'm naked, I'm naked, I'm naked, I'm naked, I'm naked. Everyone can see me." They're so focused on that they don't think about the bigger picture. Yeah, they are like Jeffrey Toobin. Yes. Yes. Exactly. All right. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure we're doing it in public. There it is. When they complain, and they will, remind them that they can't control your thoughts and words and there's nothing they can do about it. Now, you don't have to be overt with this. You don't have to say, "You can't control my thoughts and words and there's nothing that you can do. I'm going to say whatever I want to say." Although sometimes I do. Sometimes that's exactly the thing you want to do. Sometimes you do want to get that aggressive and that in their face and be like, "Neener, neener, neener, nothing you can do about it." Because that's going to piss them off. You're taking them out of control of the situation. Okay? But you might also just want to be a little bit more gentle about it sometimes. You might be like, yeah, don't feel bad, sorry." Or "Don't apologize." Or just stand your ground and say, "Nope, not bending the knee to you little SJWs today. Not gonna do it." Nothing pisses an SJW off more than when you refuse to bend the knee to them. When you refuse to do the work that they try to get you to do. Jess T says, "Just like being naked, you can be proud of your God given form or not. Knowing more about yourself or not depends on how humiliated you'll feel if you're caught exposed." Yes, be like Tom Petty. Don't back down. Graphically Alex says, I will often say you're trying to control my speech, but you can't too bad. I mean, I've really gotten to the point of being this overt as well. I'm like, there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry. I'm gonna say what I want to say. Nothing you can do about it. And then smile, laugh, have fun. They hate it when you have fun. They hate it when you mock them. One of the rules in my book Actively Unwoke is all about mockery. This is why we do happy hour on Fridays. Mock them relentlessly. They can't handle it. They cannot handle mockery. One of my haters is literally still talking about a meme that I made in July, or that I didn't make it, someone else made it, but I utilized it. She's literally still talking about a meme in July. She hates being mocked so much that she's literally been talking about it for 7 effing months. Can you give an example? Because if I give an unpopular opinion, why would they be afraid? Well, I guess I don't understand that question. Wait, what? Can you give me more there? Because I don't understand what you're asking exactly. All right. Jess T says everything Carlin is alluding to here is how women bully one another and how you can combat female bullies. Keep that in mind, ladies. Yes, that is exactly true. Women bully through social ostracization. They bully through social ostracization. So, and this is another reason why we don't feel bad about psychological fuckery. If someone else is coming into your space and trying to mess with you, you should never, ever, 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 ever feel bad about doing exactly the same thing to them. Just don't feel bad. Make the choice to not feel bad. It is a choice. Ego brain, these things are important to teach our kids so they have better control of themselves and they don't become followers. Yes. There is, just because other people have something to say about what you're doing or who you are does not mean that you are in the wrong. I mean, even there are many circumstances where, quite frankly, you both could be right. And you just have different values. You have different ways you view the world. Graphically, Alex says it tends to work better with leftists because they often frame themselves as the liberator. So if you point out how controlling they are, they will shut down. Yes, leftists, woke leftists especially, they have a thing about control. If you take them out of control, they start to freak out. It is one of the things that they fear the most in life. Not everyone is afraid of being out of control. Some people can just go with the flow. Some people can just, like, if someone disagrees with you, like, it's not the end of the world usually, right? But if a woke leftist has someone disagree with them, they cannot handle it. They literally change the dictionary definitions of words. So just take them out of control. Well, Neil, then you don't have to engage in these tactics and you can lose. See, this is the type of thing that, listen. This is the number one complaint I get about psychological fuckery. This is a tactic that has been talked about for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. If you want to get on your high horse, then you will not be able to get in the trenches, okay? You're not going to be useful in this fight. I'm sorry. You can go intellectualize with the intellectuals and accomplish nothing except more intellectualization. But you aren't going to win anything. So which do you want more? Do you want to win? Or do you want to feel morally superior? I'll feel morally superior when we win. I'll feel morally superior when we don't live in a communist utopia. I don't have the privilege to feel morally superior now because I actually care about winning. Yeah, Nat D, you're exactly right. Wearing the wrong hat or a t-shirt can freak them out. Oh god, do you know how many people have posted pictures of me in a MAGA mask? Like, there are so many people in the Libertarian Party that, like, get off on posting pictures of my MAGA mask? Like, it's a mask. Who the hell cares? Who cares what it says? But you can get them that way. That is another great way to do it. Or go to bringammo.com. Buy any of the awesome shirts that bringammo.com has. I have my Scan My Vaccine Passport Right Now shirt on. Just wear something funny that's going to piss them off. This is trolling, man. That's all this is. This is just trolling. Ego Brain says, I don't see it as stooping to their level. It can actually be an aha moment to some of them. They might not see it at that moment, but it might make them think more. I think that's a really good point, Ego Brain. All right, let's finish this Twitter thread. Let's see. To experiment, try talking publicly about a topic you know will annoy people you dislike. We talked about that. When they complain, remind them they can't control your thoughts and words and there's nothing they can do about it. We talked about that. Here's the really important point. You have to know emphatically, without a shadow of a doubt, that you are in the power position. You have to know that you are in the power position, that you are in control, and do not back down. Do not hesitate, not for one red second. Not for one red second. And the reason for that is that you are the one that's in control of your mind, but you also have to know that when you're psychologically screwing with someone, they are allowing you to have control over their mind. You have all the power. They're going to flail. They're going to scream. They're going to cry. They're going to complain. They're going to do everything they can to try to make you believe that you are not in control. And the reason that they are doing that is because you have taken them out of control. You have plucked them out of their comfort zone and you've put them right in your fucking arena. And what I need you to do is just to stare back at them, knowing that you're not doing anything wrong, knowing that the reason they're complaining, the reason they're tweeting constantly about you all day and lying on Twitter and following stalker accounts, the reason they're doing any of these things is because you are in control and you are winning. You have to know that and believe it with every fiber of your being. I'm gonna bring up a different card. I'm gonna bring up a different tarot card to look at. Hang on. Stand by. I have to take my screen down because I don't want my haters to see things by accident. And sometimes that happens when I'm typing cards in. Boo-doo-doo. Okay. You want to be the emperor. The emperor is hard control. The emperor is not moving an inch. The emperor knows that he is the supreme commander of everything that's going on, and no one and nothing can fuck with him. And if they try to fuck with him, they're going to be met by an army. Okay? Let's see, I pulled up Biddy Tarot here for the Emperor. As the father figure of the tarot deck, the Emperor suggests that you are adopting this fatherly role, regardless of whether you are male or female, providing for your family, protecting and defending loved ones. You may be the breadwinner or the rock they rely on. Summarily, the Emperor represents a powerful leader who demands respect and authority. This is who you have to be when you're engaging in psychological fuckery. You have to engage Emperor energy, okay? Status, power, recognition are essential to you, and you are most comfortable in a leadership role where you can command and direct others. As a leader, you rule with a firm but fair hand. You have a clear vision of what you want to create, and you organize those around you to manifest your goal. You listen to the advice of others, but you prefer to have the final say. Conflict doesn't scare you, and you won't hesitate to use your power to protect those you care about. And in return, the people will repay you with their loyalty and respect you deserve. Claim your authority as leader and influencer, and don't let others put you down. Now, the Emperor is not like, I mean, the Emperor's kind of badass. Let's be honest. The Emperor is a little bit badass, but the Emperor is not like a mean person. The Emperor just knows what he wants, and he's gonna rearrange things to be able to get what he wants. And if people get in his way, he is going to remove them out of the way in one way or another. Oh God, Trump had big Emperor energy. Trump had big Emperor energy, for sure. But that's who you want to be. And even if you aren't this person in real life, even if this is not natural for you, you can one of the ways you can use tarot is to say, this is the type of energy I want to have. And then see yourself as acting in a play. See yourself as being in a play, and you're playing a character. It is your job to embody that character, regardless of if you are really that character or not. Even if you don't think you deserve respect, you don't deserve to be disrespected either. So go off not tolerating disrespect if nothing else. Yeah, and listen, again, if you are engaging in this tactic with someone, they've probably disrespected you in some way. So it's not like they're showing you any modicum of respect or restraint. You have no obligation to show it to them. This card is literally me. It's Aries. This card is Aries. I'm an Aries. Look at the Rams. This is an Aries card. This is literally my card. But just because, like, this is my sign, which is why I'm really good at this, right? But anyone can embrace this energy. Anyone can embrace any energy. They just have to want to. They have to try. They have to practice. That's all that's required. All right, let's finish up this thread. Being the person in absolute control is a head game. It's not a head game anyone is playing with you. It's only a head game that you're playing with yourself. The woke left know this. They do it all the time. If we're going to win, we need to play this game. And the thing about the people you're doing it to won't even know what you're doing, even if you spell it out for them. I talk publicly all the time about my tactics, and yet my haters fall for them every single time. It's brilliant to watch and shows you how much power that you have. Even if I lay out clearly and I do multiple threads on Twitter saying, I'm psychologically screwing with you. All you need to do is not care. All you need to do is stop paying attention. All you need to do is start living your own life and not care so much what I say. Even if I lay this out emphatically, they still fall into a single time. And it's amazing to watch. It is funny to watch. It is fantastic. And you have to enjoy it. Revel in it. There is nothing wrong with reveling in any of this. Seriously, like 90% of psychological fuckery is knowing, absolutely, with no hesitation at all, that you are in control and the person you are fucking with wants to take that control away from you so that they can be in control. Just don't let them take it. That's all it is. We've talked a lot on this channel about how critical race theory is not about race. It's only about power. That's all it is. It is a power game. Psychological fuckery is the same thing. It is a battle of wills. You are trying to take control away from the person you're fucking with. They're trying to take it away from you. Whose willpower is greater? Who's going to stand there and stare the other person down and say, no, 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 not today. Not today. That's never going to happen. That's your choice. And it's their choice too. But most of the time, if you are deliberately engaging in this, you're probably going to be more powerful than them. You're being proactive, they're being reactive. Nat D says, if someone throws a punch at you, you need to be able to grab their arm and let them fall to the ground. It's protecting yourself. Yeah. Yeah, that's one way to look at it. It's self-defense. Exactly. Exactly. All right, guys, that's really all I wanted to talk about in this stream. I'm happy to take questions if you have any. This is a topic I'm going to be talking more about. We're going to get into more specific tactics. I have really specific ideas on how to take this idea and apply it to the woke left. But I wanted to use this stream as a way to lay the groundwork. Also, I am feeling a little sick, obviously. So I can't really go into more depth now because I'm about to lose my voice and I have another stream later. We're going to be streaming in about 2.5 hours. I'm bringing Joshua Smith on, and we're going to have a great conversation about what he's doing in the Libertarian Party, why the Libertarian Party is this close to not sucking anymore. It's this close. We're going to get there, but I got to save some of my voice and energy for the stream that we're doing later. And just want to remind you guys that if you appreciated this stream, I hope you'll consider pre-ordering my book, Actively Unwoke. This is one of the topics we talk about in the book. We talk about mockery. We talk about not bending the knee. There are all sorts of rules related to taking this topic and throwing it right back at them. And there's so many ways that we can do this. I'm really excited to see different ways we can apply it. If you'd like to pre-order a copy of the book, you can head over to activelyunwoke.com right now. There are all sorts of different options depending on where you want to pre-order it from. And of course, as always, if you want to support the work I do, I hope you'll consider joining my locals community. It's over at kb.locals.com. If you want to become a supporter, you can go to kb.locals.com/support and join for $5 a month. You can join for $50 a year, which gives you 2 months for free. You can also make a one-time gift. When you join as a member of my locals, you get access to all sorts of exclusive perks and benefits and all that good stuff. Neil Stone says, I'm not hating on you or anything. I simply disagree with you. I enjoy your content. Well, that's fine, Neil. But again, you're allowed to have your opinion. I'm allowed to have mine. I want to win. And I don't believe that you do if you're not willing to engage in all tactics. Julius, do libertarians have an official, unofficial stance on the Great Reset? No, I don't think. But maybe I'll have to get back to you on that. But no, I don't think there's like an official stance or even an unofficial stance. Let's see. I guess that's all we got for right now, guys. All right, please join me in about 2.5 hours. I'm gonna go take a little break and do some packing and some other stuff I need to do before I head off to Pennsylvania for tomorrow. But I hope you'll come back in a couple of hours and enjoy the chat with Josh Smith. I hope you enjoyed this stream today. This is a little bit, I'm trying to do other streams like this that aren't just news related. They're a little bit more fun for me. Much more fun when I'm not sick. But guys, I'll be back in a couple hours for the other stream. Take care, and we'll see you very soon.